My dear brothers and sisters, have you ever wondered why? When you ask Allah for wealth, success, or ease, life suddenly becomes harder. Why doors seem to close, people turn away, or your journey feels longer than expected? The truth is, before Allah grants you blessings, He prepares you through tests. These trials are not signs of rejection, but of selection. Allah chooses you to be refined, strengthened, and made worthy of greater gifts. In this video, we will explore 7 powerful trials that often come before financial blessings and barakah. Each trial carries hidden wisdom, shaping your heart and character so that when wealth finally reaches you, it benefits your dunya and your akhirah. Stay with me till the end, because understanding these tests will transform how you see difficulties, and it may just be the key to unlocking your own blessings. 1. Allah's mercy in trials. When we go through hardship, it is natural to feel overwhelmed and wonder why certain struggles come into our lives. But the Quran reminds us, Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear. This verse is a promise that every challenge you face has already been measured according to your strength and capacity. It means that if you are experiencing a trial, Allah knows you have the inner potential to endure it and grow stronger through it. Often, we underestimate ourselves. We think we cannot survive heartbreak, financial struggles, or disappointment. Yet, when the test comes, we find resilience within us that we never knew existed. This hidden strength is a mercy from Allah, who equips the believer with patience and endurance at the right moment. Without trials, we would never discover our true ability to cope and rise above challenges. Allah's mercy is also reflected in the balance of ease and hardship. No trial is endless. With every difficulty, there comes relief. The storm may shake you, but it also prepares you for calm skies ahead. Understanding this reality helps the believer to embrace trials with trust, knowing Allah is always guiding and protecting. 2. Poverty as a test before blessings. One of the most profound trials Allah places upon His servants is the test of poverty. Experiencing financial struggle humbles the soul and strips away pride, reminding us that true provision comes only from Allah. When wealth is scarce, a believer learns the value of every morsel of food, every coin, and every act of generosity. Poverty teaches gratitude for even the smallest blessings and awakens compassion for those who suffer in silence. This trial also exposes the sincerity of faith. In times of scarcity, some may lose hope, while others hold firmly to prayer and trust in Allah's wisdom. Those who remain steadfast are being trained to manage wealth responsibly when it finally arrives. Without such preparation, sudden riches could easily lead to arrogance or wastefulness. Moreover, poverty cultivates reliance on community, encouraging kindness, sharing, and empathy. It reminds us that material possessions are temporary and that spiritual wealth, patience, humility, and contentment lasts far longer than worldly treasures. When Allah eventually blesses a person with wealth, after enduring poverty, that blessing is filled with barakah, because the heart has already been disciplined to appreciate, respect, and use it for good. Poverty, therefore, is not a curse, but a powerful stage of spiritual refinement. 3. Betrayal as a trial. Betrayal is one of the most painful tests a believer can endure. It often comes from those closest to us, friends, family, or people we trusted deeply. When trust is broken, the heart feels heavy with disappointment, and it can leave scars that last for years. Yet, within this hardship lies a profound lesson. Betrayal strips away illusions. revealing who is truly sincere and who was only present for personal gain. Through this trial, Allah teaches us that reliance should never be placed fully on people, for human beings are fallible and weak. True loyalty and unwavering support can only be found in Allah. Experiencing betrayal redirects the believer's heart from depending on creation to depending on the Creator, who never abandons his servants. Betrayal also polishes the soul by cultivating forgiveness and patience. Although it hurts, choosing to rise above bitterness makes the believer stronger, more compassionate, and more cautious without becoming hard-hearted. It is a reminder to place trust wisely, but also to understand that even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was betrayed by people he trusted. When handled with patience and dignity, betrayal becomes a means of purification, preparing the believer for greater blessings and more trustworthy companions in the future. 4. Loneliness as a trial. Loneliness is a quiet but powerful trial that many believers face at some point in their lives. It may come after losing loved ones, being misunderstood, or walking away from sinful environments in order to stay close to Allah. While the silence of loneliness can feel heavy, it holds hidden wisdom. It allows the believer to detach from distractions and discover a deeper connection with the one who never leaves. In solitude, a person begins to realize that companionship with Allah is the greatest comfort. The absence of people opens the door to intimate conversations with the Creator through dua, reflection, and Quran. This test helps the heart find peace in remembering Allah rather than constantly relying on the presence or validation of others. Loneliness also builds emotional strength. It teaches the believer how to stand firm in faith even when no one else is standing beside them. Such independence strengthens conviction, making a person resilient in the face of peer pressure or societal expectations. When Allah eventually blesses the believer with companionship, community, or marriage, the gift is appreciated with sincerity. By first experiencing the depth of loneliness, the believer learns that true contentment comes only through closeness to Allah. 5. Loss as a trial. Loss is one of the heaviest trials a believer can experience. It may come in the form of losing a loved one, health, opportunities, or possessions that once brought comfort. Such moments test the depth of faith, as the heart wrestles with grief while still being asked to submit to Allah's decree. Through loss, Allah reminds us that everything we hold in this world is temporary and ultimately belongs to Him. The pain of separation awakens the soul to the reality of life's fragility. It teaches us not to cling too tightly to what is fleeting, but instead to invest in what is eternal. Loss pushes the believer to shift focus from worldly attachments toward preparing for the hereafter, where true and lasting reunions await. Another hidden mercy in loss is that it softens the heart. Experiencing grief firsthand builds empathy, allowing us to comfort others in their struggles with sincerity. It also deepens gratitude for what still remains, no matter how small. When a believer accepts loss with patience and trust, Allah replaces the pain with spiritual strength and grants immense reward. This trial, though deeply painful, becomes a doorway to nearness with Allah and a reminder that He alone is everlasting. 6. Hardship as a trial. Hardship is a broad trial that can appear in many forms: struggles at work, obstacles in studies, challenges in family life, or delays in achieving long-awaited goals. These difficulties often come suddenly and may leave a person questioning why the path forward feels blocked. Yet, hardship is a form of training. It builds endurance, teaching the believer to keep moving forward despite obstacles, and to rely on effort paired with trust in Allah's wisdom. Unlike loss or betrayal, which strike the heart deeply, hardship often tests consistency. It requires the believer to wake up each day and keep striving, even when results seem far away. This constant pressure shapes resilience and discipline, qualities necessary to handle greater blessings later in life. Without the struggle, a person might not develop the strength needed to sustain success. Hardship also teaches humility. When plans fail or doors close, it reminds us that human effort alone is never enough. We are dependent on Allah's guidance and timing. This awareness prevents arrogance and nurtures sincerity in our actions. When Allah finally lifts the hardship, the relief is sweeter because it comes after persistence. The believer not only enjoys the blessing, but also carries the strength built during the struggle. 7. Rejection as a trier. Rejection is a trial that cuts deeply because it attacks a person's sense of worth. It may come through being turned away from opportunities, relationships, or even communities. At first, rejection feels like a door being slammed shut, leaving the believer with disappointment and confusion. Yet, in reality, rejection is often a form of divine redirection. Allah removes certain paths not to harm us, but to steer us towards something far better. This trial also teaches detachment from seeking constant approval. Human acceptance is fragile and inconsistent, but Allah's acceptance is eternal. When someone experiences rejection, it reminds them to purify intentions and act for the sake of Allah alone, rather than for the recognition of others. This shift brings true freedom and peace. Rejection also builds resilience by teaching the believer how to stand firm without external validation. It sharpens wisdom, helping a person recognize that not every no is a loss. Sometimes it is protection from harm that cannot yet be seen. When Allah eventually opens the right doors, the believer realizes why earlier ones were closed. The blessing is not only sweeter, but safer, because it comes at the perfect time and in the perfect way, chosen by Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, every trial you face is a sign that Allah is preparing you for something greater. Poverty, betrayal, loneliness, loss, hardship, and rejection are not punishments. They are stepping stones to blessings filled with barakah. If you remain patient and steadfast, Allah will open doors beyond imagination and grant you both wealth and peace of heart. If this message touched you, please like, share, and subscribe to Purpose Deen for more reminders. Comment below this beautiful prayer. Ya Allah, grant me patience in trials and barakah in every blessing.